Big news, we're back on the Zephyr again. It's never ending. We got supercharged up at the West Coast Customs Cruising Nationals the past couple days. So it is Sunday. I'm at work. We saw all these cars cruising. I had an epiphany. We don't need a perfectly finished vehicle to cruise. I'm working on getting this sheet metal together. I'm going to yank this engine. We're going to primer this thing and we're going to get it running. So the last part of the fabrication is this firewall area, and then it's purely primer and mechanical. So this last thing, again, a little bit more of a challenge than I first expected. Let's check it out. Stepping into this car today, I went ahead and cleaned all the rust off of here, did a little trim work, and then attached this exhaust manifold. One of the main things I'm concerned with is how far into the cabin this one, the passenger side manifold, because this cylinder bank is a little more rearward and the angle of the exhaust exit's a little bit different from the other side. So I had to do some major cutting into the floor. I got this piece of exhaust just to get an idea of the angle. I'm just going to mock this up right here. We don't have a gasket yet, but the angle should be true as to what we can accomplish. So many things in this hobby are all about false starts. You think you're ready to rock, and something comes up. On cruise night, Victor had the Merc Eater out, and then the, I don't know what the name of that DeSoto is, the big white roadster thing with the fins that you see on our closing credits. Cruise is starting. You know, we had our West Coast Customs dinner. Everybody's charged up, looking to get out on the road and cruise, and both cars won't start. I mean, these cars are years in the making. They've been fine. Then they don't start when it's showtime. So typical. So what had happened was the air compressor in the green car was running and running because it had a manual switch. Dead battery. And then the white car, the battery cable was simply loose. So yeah, we were able to get them running, but just like this with the exhaust. I thought I was just gonna set it in motion and begin. So, right, that's cool. Somebody commented, do all master fabricators constantly bitch? What? Who said I was a master fabricator? I'm just here bitching away on YouTube. Let's not get our values mixed up here. Close enough for a mock-up. You can see right now this floor is hitting. No bueno. That's going to be exceedingly hot on the foot. So we're going to have to trim back. Man, oh man. I mean, we did our deal on this side to increase foot room, but it looks like here we're going to have a little decrease in foot room. But that's okay because there's no pedals here. Let's cut this. I think we're going to have to come in and do some relief through here. I'm just going to cut a straight shot. It looks like I could curve it, but I'm going to cut it straight. And I don't know, let's do this. That's a substantial chunk of real estate, but that's what we're up to. I'm going to zoom this camera in because you don't need to see my pretty face for the rest of this. Preparing to zoom, setting the lights, zooming. Recalibrating trajectory of angle. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So it looks like, oh, camera's focusing problems. You can't see how far rearward this is. I'll try to capture that before we're done with the templates. But let's just discuss what's going to happen here. this firewall rolls considerably forward. I don't think that was for foot room or what. It's just, I don't know why that was done, but it does. You can see, if you're coming across here, you're coming right into the whole manifold. So my thought was, what if we just came straight down? If we just came down vertical like that? Yeah, so if we're on the firewall, we're coming straight down, you just do this. You know, all this could stay in place. I'll cap this, and this will just be an empty cavity. I know, we're not going to start talking about rust issues right now. This is a toy car. Lives in a garage. Doesn't drive in the rain. Okay, are we clear? Yeah, and then we're coming down to there. So, I'll get a chalk. Maybe we can give the camera a little bit of love with our visuals. Yeah, so we are here. And that is our line, vertical down line. So that is going to impede our interior footroom considerably. But, see, when this comes across, it doesn't hit the exhaust. So there's that. So why don't we just make a mock-up. I could do this a little bit less. Let's take some cardboards. Measure says from there to there is 9 inches. So we're looking for a 9-inch by, let's say 9 by 10. Not sure the camera can see that. Let me check. Zooming out. That's not even Jamie's sound effects. That's part of the show. All right. 9. Make it a little bit larger than we need because it's just paper. Cut it back by 10. Yeah, you may have seen the West Coast custom footage now, depending on how all this gets edited, but yeah, got some really talented people. Yeah, you know, maybe I'm just going to do that. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Let's do this. I'm going to trim it right here to come in just a wee bit. Yeah, that'll work. I was thinking we were going to come straight down, but it just looks cool. I'll just put a little bow in it. A little more au naturel. The carpet can just flow right around. Let's go cut. Cut a piece of steel. Cool. I think I'm going to square this up just because our template is just cut on the fly. All right, so that one turned out to be 10, so we'll go 9. Bada bing. Bada bing. All right. Gonna do a quick check on this, see which way we gotta bend it. Yeah, so I'm just gonna put this here. I'll show you why I'm gonna do it this way. A lot of times you're trying to create a curve, you put in a slip roller, right? But we want a nice flange that hits that flat floor as well. So this is going to actually make a little bit of a break in it. And then this is going to be round. See the line created right there? That's definitely more of a curve than we need. That's what we're going to put in the car. Kind of like a bit like a skateboard ramp. Not a perfect radius. All right. Feel me on that? See the way it just came right in and turned up. Turned up. Yeah, groovy. So there's this little gap through here. I'm going to trace that and cut it with the hand shear. With this awesome welder, I could probably fill that gap. I'm going to just minimize it because you can see how this little embossment comes through with these two little details. Come in, back, and then that one. Cool. That'll work just fine. All right. And we don't need to really check that, but you know, everybody's got their little idiosyncrasies, right? That bothers the heck out of me. And I'll cut that back by hand later. Prepare to weld. All right, big question of the day. Did you turn the shielding gas on? 2 ways to find out. Sure did. That was one way. The second way is to go look at the gauge. Ooh-wee. Hand's a little shaky today. Must have been all that recreation this weekend. I'm going to turn this welder down a little bit. You'll see that gap is pretty substantial. Also going to change out this spot welding nozzle. Finding a spot welding nozzle is really good when you're doing things like these floor seams. But when you're doing a bunch of different operations, standard tip and nozzle are ideal. We have our transmission dipstick here. Shoot, I wonder if we couldn't just take this and ride it up again on a slightly different angle. Turn that welder down. Well, I was thinking about taking this and just laying it in, but I realized instead of doing this simple like a point A to point B scenario, why don't we consider the whole project? Because over there, who knows what we're going to do? We might not leave that little, might just bring the firewall straight down. I don't know. Let's get a big piece of cardboard. I wonder if we couldn't just do this with metal and see. Because try not to make a whole bunch of different shapes, but you can see we still have this round. It's kind of round right here. So if we were to come straight down, we're going to have to button that together and then try to transition that in one piece. It would be quite difficult. I think cardboard is definitely the option that we need. This is this wide trimmer. We're gonna put that on there. Then what do we need? Let's see. Let's look under here. Guessing. Let's just do this. Just to see. We can always add to it. So this goes here like that. Yeah. You know what? We will be able to do this in one piece. Cut that back. And we'll take this around this dipstick. Now this is going to be super tight for the moment because we still have to build our transmission cap. So yeah, don't stress on this. We want to get these bolts out in the long run. So yeah, look at that. Pretty cool. All right, marker. I need a little more trim through here. This looks decent. We do this, and that can be trimmed later, but this is basically the arrangement. We're gonna use some 18 gauge steel on this, just because that's what Victor brought. It's not gonna be very easy to form, but we'll get it. So, in a perfect world, I would have this over 1 inch. I'm going to cut this out because we're going to have a new hole for that. So I'm going to bring this right through 1 inch to here. And then this, make a little mark here. It's going to come down, pretty much. Here, something like that. Boom. Yeah, okay, so I got that wedge in place. It's coming down, hitting this flange. I think I am. I think I'm gonna box this in. Should I? I don't know, class. Let's take a vote. Should I? We need this out here for the bolts, minimum, and coming in like that, and like that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same thing on both sides, because we can use this little bit of extra room to just have access to whatever we need to. So I'm gonna trim this back. Think like this. What's under there? Yeah, I'm gonna make this piece, and I'm gonna trim that back first. And then we're gonna drop this down considerably. No, we don't have to. Yeah, I'm just gonna weld it on. I'll grind these two little knobs off and clean that. See how this is gonna work out. So we have to push this in. Like, yeah, I think it's gonna work. I think I'm just gonna do this. I think I'm gonna own this one. I'm gonna tack it in right here. I'm going to tack in the top, then I'm going to push each side in individually. Then once the engine comes out, I can clamp this. But we'll get a good representation of where we're heading. With a little muscle and a little luck, we're going to make it happen. Let's see. I just want you to know that this is live. I mean, I could always edit this out, but I'm just going to go for this, honestly. Not a heck of a lot. You see, with a lot of the templates on the steel, I'll go back and forth. But what I know I want is for trying to center these 2 points, and then I want this right up to the steering shaft. I'm gonna spot it. Here we go. So there is a little bit of risk management here. I'm only going to put in 5 spot welds across the top. I'm going to push this in and see if that's going to go, or am I going to have to trim it? hot weld just broke. Pulled it right off of the old sheet metal. Interesting. Yeah, look at that. That's okay by me. So seeing this come through, it's still closer to the dipstick than I want. Right? Pull this up and around, and it's closer to the bolts than I want also. But I'm just going to go in and dial all that in as I move through. Heck yeah. Now, how close to the end? Yeah, I think I'm going to take this up quite substantially as well. That is some good sheet metal. Here we go. What do we got? I need something to really push this in. Crowbar? Crowbar. Do I have one? Oh, but I got this. Big old pipe bender. Hi. Oh, that was too much hi-ya. But it stayed. I don't know. That might not be bad after all. A weird little gap right here. I bet as soon as I squeeze it's gonna totally release. Oof. Dang, that worked. I mean, if the not that the shoe fits, but if the metal fits, there it is. Wow, interesting. But I feel like it pushes too far that way. I think we're gonna have trouble with the exhaust hanging up. I got a sneaking suspicion. Let's un-hi-ya it. What I'm getting at is the, that exhaust piece we put on. It's getting much closer to that than I want. But now I got a heck of a curve presented. Yeah, that's what we could do. We're going to do it a little more gently. Right there. Yeah, I like it. I can go up here. Hit this. Another two here to really grip that. There's a slice through the sheet metal I'm going to fill up. See the grinding, the cutting disc, and a little out of range. Sweet. Now we got a gap here. If you can read that shadow, I'm not sure. Ooh, we got some fire too. Exciting. All right, we get this hammer. I'll try to just break this in. Bet I could take a screw and pull that right together. You get a tapper screw. See if we can get a little lucky with this. Sure did. Sweet. I think I got another one of them screws. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to screw this as tight as I can, but this is gonna stop it from pulling in, so I'll try to just beat that a little bit. In other words, I'm kind of pre-stretching this. screw and it should push together. It's a little bit stretched right there, I hope. Oof. There it is, it worked. Cool. I'm gonna trap that with 2 welds and then let the beatings commence. Hammer it all into shape. Then we just take the screws out and weld the hole shut. Nice and easy. Let me try to put one more screw in the center of this. You should get that. If we're doing it, why do it halfway, right? Let's make it all count. There it is. Nice. Pop them screws out, weld it up. Alright, probably gonna get the big hammer, club that into shape. Yeah, I was saying, I thought we were gonna get this put in today. My, how plans change. I'm going to weld this right through and then hammer it down as I go. This corner is just a little bit amiss. Pop that off. I'll push this in with my foot and see what we end up with. Yeah, well, that works nice. I don't know. We might have enough foot room for a pedal just like that. Let me hit this. These flanges in here are starting to come together, so try to persuade that over a little bit. I don't know, that doesn't feel like enough foot room to me. Let me come across with these shears, get our bolts some room. Because what's going to happen is this is going to go down to the desert to get primered. I'm just trying to get something lined up so I don't have to do this fabrication without the transmission in place. I'm going to pull this engine and trans. I'm just trying to get this piece. We could do this anytime. I actually have another transmission down there I can grab too, should we need to mock it up again. But I definitely want these to be showing. The bolts, that is. So many things. You think you're just going to step in and you're off to the races, but here we are. It's not the race we chose. It's not the race we were looking for. Yeah, so now what? Can we just pull this? I'm going to get the grinder and trim this up. Yeah, I'm going to make some kind of cool detail to finish that steering column opening. But again, rough it out and then refine it. Yeah, I'm hesitant to weld this up too much because I want to get a good clamp once the engine and transmission are out. Let's get that template for this. I'm a little unsure about this. We could always cut into it, but I think until we get our pedals in, I'm gonna figure out some brakes. I'm gonna leave this open for right now. This is gonna work with the transmission tunnel cover. I still think we're gonna need more foot room here, but we're gonna need this flange. See, we're gonna need this here to close this. So I may end up cutting this out and creating a box for the accelerator pedal to sit in. I don't know what we have as far as pedal choices yet. Camera on a stick, action cam. Coming in. So that's what we have set up for the bell housing access. This worked out wonderfully. We're going to set up some kind of a flange for it to land on around there. That one in place works fine. This one we made last time works awesome. So, as we say, little by little. Thanks for joining us. Remember, we are the no drama channel, no stress channel, just me building cars the best way I know.